Classics because I love working with narrative. Swan Lake is the first ballet that I saw when I was 12 years old when I started dancing, and I just remember falling in love with the music and the tutus. And I thought to myself, okay, I want to dance this work one day. But I didn't become a ballet dancer, so then I thought, let me do my own version. And that was inspired by the fact that classical ballet and African dance are so far apart. So I wanted to bring the two worlds closer together. So it really started off as being an experiment. So I took about 2 months to work on the solo, or my version of the solo, using the pas de deux music, the famous Swan Lake pas de deux music. And I started fusing classical ballet and African dance. And I mean, of course, at first it was difficult because, you know, classical ballet is graceful and lyrical, and African dance is like into the ground, and a lot of sterner movements. So it was quite hard to find the balance. But I think, you know, as with anything, if you work hard enough on it, then it becomes easier. So I started with that, and then I did a 30-minute version with teenagers from South Africa and Israel. And then after that, in 2010, I did the full-length version. So I mean, it's for me very special now that I'm talking to you about it, because it's 10th year. Yeah, I mean, we've been performing this work for 10 years. And I mean, as I said, it started off as being an experiment, but we've performed this work like all over the place. So it's special. Well, I mean, as I said, it's my favorite ballet, but I really wanted to do it because I wanted to try something different with it. I wanted to break stereotypes. There's this misconception in dance that men who dance are gay. You know, everybody thinks this. And so when I started playing around with Swan Lake, that was one of my first questions with the narrative. It's like, so what if Siegfried is gay? You know, how does that change the narrative? And it actually doesn't. I mean, at the end of the day, love is love, you know, so, and you love who you love and how you love them, but there's nothing for me about, you know, it's got to be heterosexual. It can be what it is, as long as you tell the story, and as long as you tell the story properly. I'm also a big believer in making sure that my audience understand the story, because I think that sometimes, especially in contemporary dance, you know, we try and confuse the viewer, which I don't know why. So yeah, I love storytelling, and I want for the story to come across. And in Swan Lake, I wanted to deal with issues of homophobia, gender stereotypes, and discrimination. And I guess my message, what I really wanted to put out there, was a message of tolerance, and love and acceptance. And I think a lot of the times when people don't understand something, then they fear it. You know, so especially with homosexuality, if you don't understand it, find out about it. You know, educate yourself about it, but you don't hate on it because you don't understand what it is. Yeah. I think for me, because I work with men who are gay, you know, it's become so interesting, as you say, like femininity doesn't belong to just women anymore, you know, and I really wanted to give them a chance, because as gay men, sometimes I think that, you know, people expect men to be a certain way, like they have to be strong and macho and whatever. But I work with men who are very feminine, you know, men who love to wear skirts, men who wear more makeup than women. So it was actually just giving them a chance as well, just to be able to express themselves without, you know, society going, you have to be like this or you have to be like that. And it was also just interesting because the man who dances Odile, in my version, he I mean, if you saw him from the back, he doesn't look like a man, you know, and so that is what inspired it. And he dances on point. And also it's about that, you know, in the classical world, there's the male is always just there to support the woman. So I wanted to break that, and I wanted to be able to give the men a chance to be able to take the lead, but without being the supporter of the woman, but to dance, because that's really what they want to do. We all want to dance. Well, I mean, I think that most of the reason also why I do use the classics and use the stories is to be able to tackle issues like domestic violence and rape and women being victims. And in most of my work, I normally I don't kill off the woman. It's always the man, just to break the stereotype, and also just to give people a different perspective. And also, I'm a woman choreographer, so for me, looking at it from my point of view, I don't want to be a victim all the time. I think that sometimes it's really about empowering women and going, we are actually strong, we're powerful. Women give birth, they give life, and I think that that is overlooked a lot of the times, and I think that that's something that should be celebrated all the time, because nobody would be here without a woman, if you know what I mean, so it really is about empowering women and going, we're strong and let's take back the power. It used to bother me at first when I started making Swan Lake and when we started touring it, because I thought that was not how I viewed it. That was not how it started for me. For me, it started with the music and the narrative and basically just wanting to wear a tutu. But obviously, when you have two males who are in love, you have men in tutus, then things start to change. So the political part of it is not my issue in a sense. It's what everybody else perceives. But for me, what is important is what I'm trying to say to people, and of course that's going to be political. So I've made peace with that. I used to fight it and go, no, it's not political, but it is. Because these are issues that we're dealing with in the world, and issues that people are trying to hide and sweep under the carpet. So I'm basically just, in my work, I bring them out and I go, let's talk about it. Let's start a dialogue. But I think the most important thing for me is to create work that makes people feel. And I think that I've achieved that, because I feel in the work. I feel sadness, I feel pain, I feel happy, I feel, whatever, joy, and you can see it in the work. And also with the people that I work with, they're such big personalities that you can see exactly what they're feeling. Even when they're irritated, you can see it. It's like, okay, not a good day, leave that one alone, but I think that it's really important to bring that out. The reaction of the audience is the most important thing for me, because I think that the audience, not the critics, the audience complete the work, because we talk about these four walls that we have. So without the audience, there'd be nothing. There would be nobody to share the work with. And so, it's really very important for me to listen to the audiences and to talk to them. And people will come and will cry, because at the end we do this whole very sad scene about HIV/AIDS and swans dying. So I think that it's very important to interact with the audience and to find out what they think, but not one critic, but the audience as a whole. Yeah, it is a difficult question, because I can't get away with just saying it's my life, but it is my life. For me, it's something that I've been doing since I was 12, and I'm really passionate about it. So I guess I'm telling my own stories and expressing myself through dance, and that is how I'm interacting with the world. So with each work that I do, it's an experience, and it's going, I've experienced this, or this is where I am at my life now. This is the next phase or whatever. So it's very personal. It might seem like it's entertainment, which it is, but it's also just my own personal stories. So I can relate to each and every work that I've made based on what has happened in my own life. So I'm not removed from it. I don't go, okay, I want to do Swan Lake. I go, okay, I've experienced A, B, and C, and so I'm gonna find a classic, and then I'm gonna tell my story through it. So it's I think it's more than just entertainment and art. It's really just, I think every time I make her work, it's like I'm giving away a little piece of my heart. I know it's very dramatic, but but it is like that. It's like I've experienced this, and so I want to share it, but I don't want to call it like Dada's journey or something, you know. So I'll call it Giselle, you know. So I will take a classic, and then I will use that narrative to be able to share my own story through it.